Donald Trump has urged President Xi Jinping of China to take fast and effective action to extinguish North Korea's nuclear menace after the U.S. president was officially welcomed to Beijing with an explosion of military splendor and staged adulation. Speaking at the Great Hall of the People, the ceremonial heart of Communist Party rule, Trump lavished praise on his warm and gracious host and said he appreciated Xi's support for recent efforts to rein in Kim Jong-un's weapons programs. But time is quickly running out. We must act fast, and hope China will act faster and more effectively on this problem than anyone. Trump, who landed in Beijing the previous afternoon as part of his 12-day Asia tour, told and answered business leaders and journalists. Timeline: the U.S. president must grapple with the thorny issues of North Korea's nuclear ambitions as well as trade wars in Asia on one of the trickiest diplomatic tours in decades. The 5th of November 2017, Trump warns of the North Korean threat and says Japanese orders for US-made military equipment will help keep Japan safe. Read more. The 7th of November 2017, the North Korea rhetoric softens as the president suggests he is open to diplomatic efforts to resolve the nuclear crisis. Read more. The 8th of November 2017, Xi Jinping is likely to roll out the reddest of red carpets for Trump during his 3 days in Beijing. The difficult issues of trade in North Korea again are likely to dominate the agenda. The 10th of November 2017, Trump swings through Da Nang for the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation meeting featuring one Vladimir Putin, before flying to Hanoi for talks with Vietnam's president about boosting economic and security cooperation. The 12th of November 2017, U.S.-Filipino relations have plummeted under President Rodrigo Duterte, who shares some populist and mercurial characteristics with his guest. The war on drugs and Islamic terror could join North Korea on the agenda. Thank you for your feedback. China can fix this problem easily and quickly, and I am calling on China and your great president to hope he work on it very hard. I know one thing about your president: if he works on it hard, it will happen, the US president added, to laughter. There is no doubt about it. In his 8-minute address, Trump also issued an unexpectedly blunt, if indirect, rebuke to Xi over the U-China trade relationship, which he said was shockingly unbalanced and costing the US $300 billion a year. Right now, unfortunately, it is a very one-sided and unfair relationship. But, I don't blame China, he went on. After all, who can blame a country for taking advantage of another country for the benefit of its own citizens? I give China great credit. But in actuality, I do blame past administrations for allowing this out-of-control trade deficit to take place and to grow. We have to fix this because it just doesn't work, it is just not sustainable. Xi and Trump unveiled more than $250 billion in economic deals, a move one Chinese official hailed as truly a miracle, but skeptics believed were likely to have materialized even without the US president's visit. Earlier, Xi greeted Trump at the eastern steps of the Mao-era Great Hall, where he was met on a red carpet by members of China's top leadership and a military guard of honor. The leaders of the world's two largest economies led a military parade from a podium outside the venue and were greeted by flag-waving schoolchildren from both China and the US. Department of State at State Dept POTUS and FLOTUS joined President Xi and Madam Peng of China at the Great Hall of People to kick off today's bilateral meetings. POTUSINAZIRPIC.Twitter.com Fate Nua 7xHK November 9, 2017 China has painted Trump's reception as an unusually enthusiastic tribute to a respected foreign friend. This trip has been peppered with all sorts of unprecedented events. Jonathan Betts, an American news anchor who was hosting rolling coverage of the very special welcome for the Communist Party-controlled broadcaster CGTN, told viewers as Trump arrived in Tiananmen Square. Betts pointed to Xi's decision to invite Trump for dinner in the Forbidden City after his arrival on Wednesday as evidence that rare and special treatment was being bestowed upon the Manhattan property tycoon. This is not necessarily normal. China really is putting on a show to make sure President Trump feels welcome, Betts said, adding China has rolled out the red carpet literally and figuratively. China is pulling all the stops out. However, Jorge Guajardo, Mexico's former ambassador to Beijing, said China's claims to be giving Trump unprecedented treatment was a classic diplomatic ploy. The Chinese are very, very, very good at style with no substance, said Guajardo, who hosted 2 Mexican presidents in China during his 6 years as its top diplomat there. Trump tour. I can't tell you how many times they would say things like, well, this is the first time we are doing this, and Party Secretary Xi personally requested this. They dress it up and they prime you to walk in already thinking you are winning. It works. It works so well. They are so good at it. It means nothing, but they sell it to you as a huge deal. Guajardo recalled accompanying Mexico's former president, Felipe Calderón, on a visit to a stretch of the Great Wall near Beijing during a 2008 state visit. "Oh, Mr. President, of all the foreign visitors that have visited, you are the one who has reached the highest point," he recalls a Chinese official telling the Mexican leader. "You fly away and if they ask you how it went, you say, 'It was great,'" Guajardo said. "What did you get out of it? Nothing." Ely Ratner, a senior fellow for China's studies at the Council on Foreign Relations, said Trump's VIP treatment was a Chinese attempt to flatter and impress the volatile U.S. leader. During his presidential campaign, Trump repeatedly lashed out at China, accusing it of raping the U.S. economy and being the country's enemy. Ratner said it's clearly an effort to try get to him to back off on some of the more punitive actions that the administration is considering on North Korea and trade and investment. Xi's attempts to massage Trump's ego seem to work. Overnight, Trump changed his Twitter header image to a photograph of his visit to the Forbidden City. President Xi, thank you for such an incredible welcome ceremony. It was a truly memorable and impressive display, he tweeted on Thursday. Speaking at the Great Hall of the People, Trump thanked Xi for his absolutely terrific welcome to China and said he harbored incredibly warm feelings towards a man now seen as China's most powerful leader since Mao Zedong. "You are a very special man," Trump told Xi. Xi was more restrained in his choice of words, although he hailed Trump's successful and historic visit and said he hoped the US and China could write more and more great stories together in the future. The Chinese president did not directly respond to Trump's call for faster action on North Korea, but told reporters Beijing was committed to solving the crisis through dialogue and negotiation. "We are ready to discuss with relevant parties the pathway leading to enduring peace and stability on the peninsula and in Northeast Asia." North Korean state media earlier rebuffed Trump's diplomatic overtures, one day after he offered Pyongyang a path to a much better future. Official news agency KCNA called Trump a lunatic old man and said the U.S. should oust him in order to escape the abyss of doom. An unnamed NK official told CNN, "We don't care about what that mad dog may utter because we've already heard enough." Additional reporting by Benjamin Haas.